Ever wonder why a college freshman needs more security than some of the world's most powerful leaders? Barron Trump, the 18-year-old son of former President Donald Trump, experiences just that as he attends New York University. His security detail is unlike anything most world leaders receive, with constant surveillance protection that goes far beyond the norm. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the extraordinary security measures around Barron and uncover why his safety needs surpass those of global heads of state. Stay tuned to learn the reasons behind this level of protection. Barron Trump's college experience. More protection than presidents. In September 2024, when Barron Trump arrived at NYU Stern School of Business as a freshman, students quickly noticed something that was anything but typical: a heavy security presence unlike anything seen on a college campus. While world leaders travel with discreet security, Barron's protection detail resembles a well-coordinated military operation disguised as a normal college experience. His security is so extensive that it makes the usual arrangements for visiting heads of state appear minimal in comparison. What's truly striking isn't just the size of the security detail. It's the level of surveillance that follows him everywhere. Secret Service agents, often blending into the student body with hoodies and backpacks, maintain a constant watch over him. Despite their efforts to appear like regular students, their movements are highly conspicuous. They're not just stationed outside the classroom. They're accompanying him to the bathroom, maintaining continuous monitoring of his activities and ensuring his every step is accounted for. The question arises, how far should security go before it crosses a line into invasion of privacy? The unprecedented nature of Barron's security detail. Students at NYU described the situation as both surreal and unsettling. Federal agents disguised as college students, sitting in lecture halls, following him to the library, and constantly maintaining communication through radios. These are not the usual activities of freshman's day. The level of intrusion into what should be a normal college experience is significant. Even though Barron's protection has become routine, the obvious presence of security has altered the campus environment. His college experience now resembles a diplomatic zone, with black SUVs and agents constantly monitoring his every move. But what makes Barron's security different from that of other world leaders? When foreign dignitaries visit New York for meetings of the United Nations, their security teams operate in a much more subtle manner, with limited intrusion into their private lives. In contrast, Barron's protection far exceeds that, providing a level of surveillance that's more closely aligned with those of individuals who are facing imminent threats, rather than a college student trying to navigate his way through school. The rising threats and the need for extensive protection. To understand why Barron requires such intense protection, we must first look at the background of threats against his family. When his father, Donald Trump, assumed office in 2017, Barron was just 10 years old. Throughout his early years in the White House, it became clear that the Trump family's level of vulnerability was unlike any other. As political polarization reached new heights, threats against Barron escalated. These threats came not just from anonymous online accounts, but from extremist groups, individuals, and those with a deep-seated hatred of his father. By the time Barron was in high school, the threat level had increased exponentially. His family was now facing organized efforts to target Barron, with plans to kidnap or harm him to use as leverage against President Trump. These were not just idle threats. They were carefully coordinated operations, complete with surveillance of Barron's school routes, social circles, and personal life. A presidential decision, extending Secret Service protection. While most children of former presidents lose their Secret Service protection once they reach 16, Donald Trump made a historic decision to extend Barron's protection well into his college years. He recognized that the threats against his son had not diminished. In fact, they had intensified after he left office. With political tensions rising and legal challenges surrounding his presidency, Donald Trump used his executive authority to ensure that Barron remained under Secret Service protection during his time at NYU. This wasn't merely a father's concern for his son. It was a response to growing intelligence reports indicating that Barron's safety was more at risk than ever before. The threats against him were not only continuing, but were now more organized, with some targeting his college life. The Secret Service's job was no longer just about protecting a former president's child. It was about safeguarding Barron's safety in an environment that was inherently unpredictable, surrounded by thousands of students with varying levels of interest in his father's politics. Innovative solutions for Barron's campus security. In order to protect Barron while allowing him to lead a semblance of normal college life, the Secret Service had to adapt its strategies. They had to figure out a way to blend in without drawing attention. This led to a solution that had never been attempted before in Secret Service history. Instead of the usual bodyguards in suits and sunglasses, agents disguised themselves as fellow students, blending into campus life. They studied everything from the latest fashion trends to campus slang in an attempt to be as unobtrusive as possible. But despite their best efforts, it was clear that these agents weren't ordinary students. They carried themselves differently, constantly alert and always on the lookout for potential threats. The most controversial aspect of Barron's security came when the Secret Service made the decision to accompany him even into private spaces like bathrooms. Security assessments showed that restrooms pose the highest risk for campus threats, prompting this unprecedented level of protection. While world leaders often have perimeter security at best, the idea of accompanying a college freshman into private spaces demonstrates just how seriously Barron's security team treats his protection. Social media reactions and the Surreal college experience. Barron's unusual security detail quickly became the subject of social media discussions at NYU. Students began sharing their experiences of seeing Secret Service agents in class, at the library, and in various campus spaces, pretending to be fellow students while still maintaining their heightened alertness. Despite attempts to keep these posts from spreading, the images of federal agents attempting to blend in with the student body left many students feeling uneasy. The atmosphere of normal college life was disrupted by the constant surveillance, and it raised questions about the price of protecting a public figure's child. As other students tried to engage with Barron or form friendships, they found themselves subjected to background checks and security assessments. Any attempt to get close to him became a logistical nightmare, as every interaction was scrutinized by a security team. These security protocols impacted Barron's social life, turning what should have been simple college experiences into bureaucratic challenges. Global comparison, world leaders and their security. While Barron's protection was becoming more sophisticated and invasive, world leaders visiting New York for UN events had far less intrusive security. For instance, French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz both visited Manhattan for diplomatic meetings, but their security details were discreet, with smaller entourages and far less public surveillance. They walked through crowded areas, dined in restaurants, and engaged with people on a regular basis, all while maintaining a respectful level of security. In stark contrast, Barron couldn't attend a lecture without his classroom being swept for potential threats and his fellow students being subjected to background checks. Even public restrooms were not exempt from security monitoring. The difference in the level of protection between a world leader and a college freshman was not just surprising, it was almost absurd. The future of Barron's security, the growing dilemma, the sheer scale of resources dedicated to Barron's protection raises questions about the future of such extensive security for someone who is, at the end of the day, just trying to complete his college education. While world leaders with immense power and influence travel with security details that are often understated, Barron's situation suggests that the U.S. may have entered a new era of personal security, a time when even a college freshman can require protection of what seems like an entire military operation. Barron Trump's college experience is a strange and surreal tale, one that highlights the complexities of security, privacy, and public life in the modern world. While foreign heads of state walk freely through Manhattan with discreet protection, a young freshman can't even attend a class without turning his campus into a high-security zone. As Barron continues his education, the question remains, how far will this level of protection go? Can someone simply trying to study business really require more security than the most powerful people on Earth? If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth analysis and updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.